The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for professional medical advice.
Sweaty and pissed. Menopause makes me sweaty and pissed.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Sweaty and Pissed, Menopause and More. I'm Karen Nickel, family nurse practitioner, and I am here with Leanne Morgan, who is...
I'm a comedian and a mother and a dog owner. And I've birthed 3 children, and my baby child is sitting here with us. We're so excited. This is our second part to a series that we're doing with her because she is a professional makeup artist. And we're all on fire because she has wonderful tips. Even if she is mine, she has wonderful tips about what products and actual brands and how to use them. And so welcome, Tess Morgan.
Thank you for having me.
We are so excited to have Tess Morgan back with us.
So excited to be back and chat about my favorite topic, makeup.
I know.
Yeah, we are product whores, aren't we?
We are. The sheer amount is almost TLC worthy, you know.
Oh, what I have stacked is terrible. I'm going to have to get it organized. I'm going to have to hire somebody.
We have like a product room.
We have a product room. Oh, yeah. And let me tell you that if people want to learn, I don't know, a lot of people know about these kind of subscription boxes and these things, but we started when you were in high school, was it? When we started getting subscription boxes that will set you on fire. We started out with Birchbox, which is now in Walgreens, some Walgreens, and on campus at the University of Tennessee, where Karen and I live. They have where you can go and pick out your own products to go in this little Birchbox. It's like, and if you order it and have it brought to your door through the mail, it's $10 a month.
I believe so.
$10 a month, and you get to try all these products. And then there's one called Allure Beauty Box that's my favorite. That's my favorite. Even though I do love a Birchbox.
It's a little bit more expensive. I think it's about.
What is it? $15 a month?
Well, they just increased the price to I think $21, but that one you get full size products. You get a couple of like travel size, but I think every box they do like 3 full size, which absolutely covers the cost of it.
And
so they just send you whatever they select.
Or they have a curator. Like you go online, and if you sign up for this, which let me say, I think they're unbelievable birthday and Christmas gifts. You know, for the person and they've got them for men, where you think, what am I going to get them? And this is something that gives throughout the year. They get it every month, which I think is exciting. Who doesn't like to get something in the darn mail, you know?
Nobody.
And during COVID, we all need a little pick-me-up. But Allure, what was I saying?
Allure, okay, so Birchbox.
Oh, they curate it for you.
Birchbox, you go online and you pick out because sometimes they'll do makeup and then skincare. So you can pick like your skin tone, your eye color, your hair, like your eyebrow color, so they can match you accordingly. Allure does not do that. Allure is a magazine, actually, and they have the Allure Best of Beauty Award winners. And so everybody that works at Allure goes through it all year trying out all of these products, and then they all decide what are their favorites. And then throughout the next year, they put the Allure Best of Beauty winners inside the box.
It's fabulous.
Wonderful.
So it's like a little surprise every month.
Yes. And I believe that Allure doesn't put like foundations or like that in there because they know that
the color,
because they know the color. But sometimes you'll get like a brow pencil. It'll be like a universal color. It'll be somebody that can pretty much work on almost any eyebrow. Maybe not somebody that's super light or has super dark hair, but most people it can work. So they do put makeup in there, or like it's a lot of lip colors and cheek colors and things like that. Not necessarily foundation.
And I'm telling you, I found some of my favorite things out of that box. And keep using it. And they also give you a discount. Like if you do like a product, they'll run sales and have a discount on those products.
Yeah.
And then also there is a FabFitFun subscription box that comes every season. So 4 times a year. And I did an advertising for them. They sent me a box and I opened it up live on Facebook and went through the products. And they also have a curator that can, that you tell them what you prefer and what you'd like to try, but they have like things for your home, things they have beauty products, they have workout stuff,
lifestyle.
So like you could get a cheese board, and then you get a body lotion, and it's a lot of clean products, and it's also made by they try to use a lot of women, women brands or what. Or women CEOs, women that have started these companies. But these are wonderful ways. All of these are wonderful ways to try products. Instead of just going out and buying stuff and then wasting it, you can try things, and it's also just a fun thing to get in the mail and to give you a goodie, a happy during the time of the COVID. Like this last FabFitFun thing I did. They were like, well, we don't know if you can do a fall one because they're selling out so quick because people are at home and they're bummed. And so they were selling out so fast. They were like, okay, Lynn can do it, but she's got to do it now. And like I had to rush and, put on a pretty dress and do it. But Tess had signed up for those even before they started. They had me do an advertisement. And we would be on fire. You'd open up this box. You'd be like, my FabFitFun box is here. And we'd just be on fire.
On fire.
You open that. It's huge, Karen. It is huge. It's the size of
It's like I would say it's like 2 shoe boxes worth.
2 or 3 shoe boxes worth. And you're like, what the? And you're just on fire. On fire.
And this is monthly?
That one, FabFitFun, is a really big one that comes every season. So it's 4 times a year.
Like every quarter.
Yeah, and it's like $39.99 a quarter with a discount. Like they had a discount that was Leanne.
Yeah.
If you put in Leanne, you get $10 off. So it's $39.99. But you get products in there, full-size products that are like $60. So it pays for itself. So anyway, that's just something that... all you girls out there that, we're all, like, what the world with this COVID? It just gives you a little something, an inexpensive way to treat yourself.
Yeah, sounds good. So, Tess, we are going to talk about what today?
We're going to be talking about foundations and concealer. So the last one I was on, we talked about skin prep. So now we're going to be building up the face. So now that we've done our skin prep, we're going on to what we call in the makeup industry our base. So our foundation, our concealer, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about some of my favorite products.
Yay. So what do we start with? Foundation or concealer?
Foundation. So foundations, we all know there's a gajillion on the market, and there's a gajillion different preferences that people have. So I have some favorites that are like tinted moisturizers or skin tints or something for the everyday person that just wants to literally slap it on and go out the door and just kind of cover up some of that redness and some of that discoloration and just going to even out the skin. So we'll start off with kind of like our lightest coverage and then going to go into our fuller coverage. So lighter coverage, I always love a skin tint or a tint moisturizer that has SPF in it, because that's the kind of person that typically wears, that wants that sun coverage, just wants to slap it on and get out and go. Some of my favorites are Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer has been a holy grail for us.
Yes, Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer. I've used it for years.
And they actually just redid the formula, so it's a little bit more coverage than the original, and they have way more shades. So that's really nice. And so
does it have SPF too?
That one does. I believe it's SPF 20 or 30. I can't remember which one.
And they've got different formulas. So they've got an oil-free one, and they've got a hydrating.
They have a hydrating one, an oil-free one, and then I believe they might have like an actual matte one. And so you can kind of, depending on your skin type, if you're somebody that likes to set with powder, doesn't like to set with powder, you can kind of find your right formula. And
can I say this? When we lived in San Antonio, Texas, and my kids were little, I had a horrible rosacea outbreak. And it was bad. And I've never had one since then that bad. And I went to Saks Fifth Avenue. I'd never been in one, and I normally would never shop at, that's hoop-de-doo, and I don't go into one. But anyway, I just was freaked out. I looked like I had acne like a child. And I went, and this woman was standing at a makeup counter, and I said, is there anything? I think I had the Las Vegas Comedy Festival to go to, and I was just hysterical because I looked so bad. Anyway, she said, oh my gosh, you need to go over. She did not work at Laura Mercier, but she goes, you need to go over to Laura Mercier because that product, that line has emu oil in it. And emu oil helps correct rosacea and calm it down. And so that was, you were in kindergarten, you were 3. So she's 20, she's 22. So, I mean, good night. 18, how many years ago was that? I can't even think. 19 years ago. I have used Laura Mercier products. I've changed around and I'll whatever, but I always go back to them. And I think so people with rosacea out there on Sweaty and Pissed, Menopause and More, think about going to Laura Mercier because it really calmed me down. And even though I would use a prescription every once in a while, like Differin, I have never had another problem with it. And I used Tess talked in an earlier episode, last episode of Sweaty and Pissed, talked about their scrub, which is wonderful. And there's all kinds of wonderful products.
Bath soaks, body lotions, all the kinds of makeups you would ever need.
They've got really good products. Okay.
Great brand. One of those brands you just kind of trust anything you're going to get from there. You're like, I think it's going to work out pretty good.
Yeah.
And then this is a newer product that I have been adoring. It's the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint with SPF 40. And I have loved this because Ilia is a very clean brand.
Spell that for people.
ILIA is how it's spelled. I love this skin tint because I think it's just like a tint. It looks exactly like your skin, but it covers up redness. It can cover up any kind of like a little blemish you have going on. It covers it up really well. And it's something you can just kind of throw on during the day if you're going to be out.
So is this in place of a tinted moisturizer or is this, a skin tint? That's another word for
it's like a serum. This is like a serum skin tint new super light foundation.
Can mommy put on some right now?
Mommy can. And I love this because it has niacinamide, squalene, and hyaluronic acid. So if you remember from the last episode, hyaluronic acid is really, really great for hydrating the skin. And then niacinamides are really good for anybody that's got blemishes and things like that. And so I think it's just kind of like a 1-2 punch kind of product. And I love it because I can put this on all over. And then if I have a more intense breakout, I can just dab on some concealer underneath it, blend it out, and then put my skin tint on. And so I don't have to have so much coverage all over, but I can still cover up a blemish and then have a really nice flush to the skin.
Oh, it feels good.
Feels very nice. I don't know if that's your color.
Do I look too pale?
A little bit.
Mommy's old and getting more tan by the day, and it's not because I'm out in the sun. I think it's just
it's discoloration.
I'm looking like a discoloration in a saddlebag.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But I love the brand Ilia. I think it's great because it's super clean, and I've been trying to switch over a lot of super clean products for my own personal use.
Yes.
And so I've really loved this one. So.
And it sounds like it has a little extra oomph too because it has the niacinamide.
It does. It's like skincare and makeup kind of in a one.
Yeah, all in one. So if you need to get in and out of the house fast.
Get in and out of the house. This is the perfect one to use because I love this. A cream blush, put a cream bronzer, throw it on the eyelid, go out the door, and you've got almost.
Is this what I would need for my skin type too, or do they have different skin types?
They only have one of this.
Oh, one of this for everybody.
Yes.
And where do you get it?
This one, I believe, Ilia is only sold at Sephora, or it's not sold at Ulta, I don't think. So you can get it at Sephora. I believe this one's about $42, and I believe the Laura Mercier is $32. So those are the prices you kind of got on those. But it lasts forever. It's super liquidy and thin, so it's not super heavy feeling. If you're somebody that doesn't like the makeup feel, this is a really great product to try. Then we're going to go to our almost like medium kind of coverage products. And a tip that I always like to tell people is you can't really do it with like a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer, but if you have a product like a foundation that you really love, but sometimes you think you don't need that much coverage or it's a little thick feeling, tap in some of your moisturizer and make your own homemade tinted moisturizer with your product. So then you can just buy one foundation and be able to thin it out with either a moisturizer or a primer, depending on what primers you're using. Gotta be careful with that. But typically you can mix it with anything. And then you can make one foundation have several different functions. which I really like, which is very economical.
That's a very good tip.
Thank you. I love that tip. That's the tip
That is
from
a
Tess.
good one.
Tip from Tess.
Tip from Tess.
Well, and we talked
TFT.
about last episode of primers. And so there are some foundations
There
that
are
have a primer in them, or no?
No.
Okay, but
Stop making stuff up, Leanne.
No. There's different primers for different skin types and different functions.
Right.
Any kind of, if you're using a hydrating primer, if you're using a super liquidy primer, you can mix that into foundations. If you're using something super silicone or super thick, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, but anybody, even if you're somebody that uses like an oil-free moisturizer, like the CeraVe or something like that, you can mix that into a foundation. If it's like a liquid or a cream, and just really mix it in, throw it on, and you can run out the door. Bebop boop.
yeah, and CeraVe, I'm sure Karen has told people to use CeraVe. Our dermatologist always says that's a good
I love CeraVe.
moisturizer in a drugstore that is probably less than $20 at least, maybe even less than 10. And always go to the woman in the beauty area in Walgreens. She'll give you a coupon.
Yeah, there you go.
I know. They're so good about that, aren't they?
They are. Love my Walgreens.
Love my Walgreens.
Love a CVS.
But I love CeraVe. And then if you're going to be mixing in your moisturizer, I wouldn't use, you got to be careful with ones that you're using with SPF. Like the CeraVe night one is what I use, and I use it day and night. I don't like the one that has SPF because sometimes I think it can give you a white cast. And then sometimes SPF that's mixed into a moisturizer that you mix in with makeup, sometimes it doesn't blend well, and it can break up a little bit. So just be careful. Just try it out on your hand. Just kind of give a little testy test.
Yeah, probably a good thing to know is not use a moisturizer with a sunscreen in it.
Yeah. So
If you're gonna mix it with your
just as a
foundation.
baseline. There you go. But then medium coverage
Yeah.
foundations that, again, you can thin out if you want, and you can build up to a fuller coverage if you want. My faves are, I love for the everyday person. If you're going to take a lot of photography, I wouldn't necessarily use this one because it's got SPF in it. But the It Cosmetics CC cream is a tried and true for me. I love it. I love that they have a normal one, just like a normal finish, and then they have a matte one, and then they have an illuminating one. And it's got SPF 50 in it. It can blend out, it can cover up redness, it can cover up a blemish, but it still looks like skin, and it lasts all day.
Say the name of it again, Tess.
It is the It Cosmetics CC cream, which I believe is sold at both Sephora and Ulta. I know it started off at Ulta, but I think it's now in Sephora.
Okay, Karen, do you remember when we were first doing our podcast and I gave you an It No Tug eyeliner for Christmas or your birthday or something?
Yes, I love that.
That is that product, It, IT.
And it is targeted, and I believe from the base of like when they started this line, it was for people that had lots of redness, for the more mature skin. Everybody can use it. Obviously, I use it. I'm 22, but it's really good. Like the No Tug, it's really good for people that have a little bit of a looser. I mean, you can use it. Anybody can use it. But if you have a looser eyelid, I would highly suggest that one for you. If you think that like you can put on your eyeliner and it like skips almost between your skin, that's a really good one to try. But they have really great products. A lot of it's got some skincare in it. So sometimes you want to be careful just because if you are sensitive to breaking out from like weird skincare, might want to do a patch test. But the CC cream is a tried and true. I love it. You can build it up on the cheeks if you have more pigment there, and then you can blend in a moisturizer and you can thin it out. And I love it. I wear it to the pool. I wear it to the beach. It doesn't make you break out, but it gives you that sun protection.
And I love the illuminating.
I use the illuminating, and I probably would say I have combination skin. So I do have some oiliness in my T-zone, and I still use the illuminating because I love a glow.
I love a glow. I love a dew.
I
You know, a
love a
dewy
dew.
look.
I'm not a matte kind of person. I think it makes me look almost crepey and dry.
Well, and we all wore matte like Madonna in the 80s and early 90s, you know, and then I got to looking at people and I thought, I want a dewy look. I want to look young and glowy. I don't want to look crepey and matte. And I still have friends that I think they're using a matte and they don't need to.
Yeah,
they need to use
especially
a dewy.
If you have mature skin, you should not be using a matte. All it does is accentuate lines, crepiness, dryness, all that. You should be either using a natural finish or an illuminating.
Let me ask you this, Tess.
Okay.
When she gets mad at me because I put everything on with my hands because I have no patience anymore in my life. If somebody wanted to know what kind of tool do they put on foundation with?
Depending on the foundation, your hands are your best tools if they're clean. You make sure you wash them right before and they're clean. I just think that some people don't know how to necessarily use their hands correctly.
She's saying me.
And so like you just don't get it good enough with the blend. Now a brush, I love brushes, but brushes you do have to maintain and wash. You don't have to wash them every day, but every once a week, twice a week, or two times a month, something like that. You need to be washing them because they do hold bacteria. But I love a brush because I think it just gives a brush or a sponge.
Yeah. And what kind of brush do you recommend to people?
I am a big fan of Morphe brushes because they're cheap, but they're professional grade. You can get them at Sephora, you can get them online, or not Sephora, you can get them at Ulta. And you can get a foundation brush for $7 and it is professional grade. I use them in my kit. I love them. There's several different kinds of foundation brushes. You can kind of go and just kind of feel and just kind of get a vibe of what you like. I like a denser one because they kind of can give you more control. Now with a sponge, I love a sponge, and sponges can hold bacteria, so you gotta be really careful with them. But a sponge to me gives the most natural finish. It makes sure you don't put on too much product. And if you end up putting too much foundation on, take a damp sponge and blend it out and it'll pull that excess product off. But I love the Beauty Blender is a tried and true. It's about $20 from Sephora. If you want a cheaper option, you can go to any drugstore, Target, anything like that, and get the Real Techniques sponge. It is really great. And Morphe has a sponge. I think it's $5 for their sponge.
You know what we'll do? We'll do a video to coincide with this,
About tools.
with this podcast, and she can show using the foundation brush and the beauty blender.
Yes, I will. I can do it.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
But those are my preferred. Like if you're using the skin tint or a tint moisturizer, that's great for your hands because it's just you slap it on and go.
Yeah.
But if you're using a more fuller coverage foundation and you use your hands and you don't blend it out right, you're going to be able to tell. You're going to miss spots. It's gonna show. And then
the last
one, and I recommend, this is the kind of foundation that if you're somebody that loves a good makeup day and you want to wear it on a day-to-day, go for it. But I love these for
special occasion.
Special occasion. This is your special occasion makeup. This is a little bit more coverage.
This is a heavier coverage.
This is a heavier coverage. This is one that kind of gives you that really flawless sort of look. I use these when I do Leanne's makeup, Mom's makeup.
When I'm on stage, yeah.
So this is,
but they're not a stage makeup.
But they're not a stage makeup.
Yeah,
no, like you can wear. I have both of these products, and I wear them sometimes during the day, and sometimes at night. Like you can absolutely wear. It's not stage makeup by any means, but I love. It's the YSL, the Yves Saint Laurent, cream or liquid foundation, and it just comes in a pump, and it's the Tint Isole, some kind of, you'll see it. If it's in a bottle.
You want us to pull it up while you're talking about it?
I
love it.
Love it. And
I love it.
For me, it's, because I'm giving a recommendation of a liquid foundation and a stick foundation. So the liquid one is probably what a lot of people are really comfortable with. And for me, this one gives a little bit of a radiant finish. It gives that coverage, but it's very skin-like. And I think it photographs beautifully. So if you know that you're going to an event that you're going to be photographed at, I think it photographs really, really beautifully. And it is the...
Oh, now Karen would know because she has sung
French
opera in French.
Touche éclate le tint. Touche.
Yeah.
And touche. And then éclate, it's like an E with the little hat. It's got a little hat. And then CLAT.
Yeah. Éclat.
Éclat. And then LE. Le. And then I believe that's tint or tint. Tiddly too. TEINT.
Foundation.
TEI and
I didn't realize this had
Oh.
SPF 22 in it.
It does. And luckily, that is not high enough of a SPF that usually you should have any flashback. So you should be good on that one. If you have anything that starts to get to about 25 to 30 and up is when you could have a problem with that. Sometimes you don't, depending on how it's suspended into the product. But you can just...
But I love this foundation. It's $54, but I don't use it every day.
You don't
I
have to
use
have
it-
a lot.
Yeah, you don't use a lot. Like, I really have to watch how much I squirt into my hand because it is like, it's not even a whole pump.
It's not. And this is not one that
And
I
it
would put in your
spreads.
hand.
Oh,
I wouldn't use this one with your hands.
well, I do.
I know you do. But it wouldn't for the everyday person.
busted.
But this is one that, and it's also, if you want to make your product go longer, use a brush, not a sponge. A sponge will soak up some product. So
That's what I was thinking.
yes. So it does soak up, but it just gives such a beautiful finish. But if you're using a more expensive foundation and you don't want to waste a lot, you can go in with a brush. And then maybe at the end go in with even a sponge, or if you want to go in at the very end with your hands, just to kind of add some heat back into the skin, you can. I can show a tutorial on that one as well.
Oh my goodness, we haven't even gotten to our
Concealer.
But
Okay.
real quick,
Quick, Stick Foundation, Tom Ford, Flawless Skin Foundation. It's the Stick Foundation from Tom Ford. Is my favorite foundation that I've particularly ever used. It's expensive. I believe it's $98. And so it runs you a hot penny, but it lasts forever.
but it's also another thing that lasts forever.
forever, and it is so good. And that one, surprisingly, you can almost like scrape off from the stick and mix it with your moisturizer, and that one turns into a tin of moisturizer. Really beautiful.
Yeah, that says $88.
Oh, $88.
Okay, and so while I'm thinking about it, what are some good drugstore, inexpensive foundations that people could go into their Walgreens, CVS?
Okay. I love the L'Oreal line. There's a line of several of them. It's the Pro Glow. There's the Pro Glow, which is for dewy skin, for if you want to do your look, and then there's the Pro Matte. And both of those, I think, either if you want dewy or you want matte, that one has been a tried and true for many makeup artists. Everyone really loves that.
What's it called, L'Oreal?
That's not it. I know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Pro Glow. The Pro Glow and the Pro Matte, I think they probably run $12.99, lasts a good amount of time, has good coverage, but can also be built up and thinned out. I love those. I think those are great.
Pro Glow.
Pro Glow. And I think that it's great that they have Pro Matte and Pro Glow so you can have either finish that you like.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. And so quickly, we'll go real quick over concealers. Your inexpensive.
My inexpensive recommendations for concealers, because I know the everyday person does not want to color correct underneath their eyes, which I will do a video over that if you do want to.
Yeah, we'll do a video on concealers.
On concealers and color correctors, but I know the everyday person does not want to fool with a color corrector. That's just too much, especially if you're just trying to run up the door. If you want a drugstore concealer that gets good coverage but is not super drying, I love the e.l.f. Camouflage Concealer. Is a dupe, if you will, in the makeup community, a dupe for the Tarte.
Which is more expensive.
The Tarte, what is it called? Shape Tape is kind of a dupe. And then
when she says dupe, you mean duplicate, a duplicate for
it.
Yeah.
Does the same thing.
Just less expensive.
Just less expensive. It's a cheaper option. And then the Maybelline Age Rewind is a great dupe for the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And I love both those. So the Tarte and the NARS, if you want to spend the money, wonderful concealers. That's what I use on Leanne for stage. That's what I use.
And I use them every day.
And you can use them on day to day. And I use them in my kit. I just really love them. The Tarte Shape Tape and the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And then if you want the dupes for those, the e.l.f. Camouflage and the Maybelline Age Rewind are really great drugstore options for those as well. And they really give a good brightness to the under eye and cover up dark circles.
But you never want to go so light that you have a raccoon effect. I did that in the 90s.
Yes. The trick with concealer is you're really only supposed to go, depending on your skin, 1 to 2 shades lighter. Nothing more than that. And more than that, you're going to look like a raccoon. Because it's almost the same with your contour if you want to do that, which is 1 to 2 shades darker. So you really shouldn't be having this huge contrast, this huge spectrum that you're going on for color. Your concealer should just be 1 to 2 shades lighter to add the dimension.
So you mentioned Tarte.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tarte concealer, and then you mentioned some Mars.
Is that NARS with an N.
NARS.
Oh, that's a different brand.
That's a different brand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, Tarte and NARS, my 2 favorite higher end, I guess you could
concealer,
say, concealers.
And they're like $27. $27.
Yeah, 27, between like 27 like 32, I think is where those run. And they're great. I love those brands do concealer really well. So if you want to spend the extra, I think it's very much worth it. But if you are balling on a budget, which I get, the e.l.f. camouflage concealer is great for a dupe for Tarte. And then the Maybelline Age Rewind is great for NARS. And that way, if you need to not spend as much money, which is understandable, those are great. And they also, both of those
are like $9.99.
Yeah, those $9.99. Yeah. e.l.f. I think is like $4. e.l.f. is super cheap.
Well, and you're not using a lot of that.
And you're not using a lot of it. You're really just...
It's going to last a while, I think.
Yeah, you just tap it on. Yeah, you really shouldn't be using an alarming amount. Especially mature skin should not be using a crazy amount of concealer because that's just going to dry you out.
Those are awesome suggestions.
Thank you.
And I have been taking notes.
Wonderful. We love a note taker.
Yes. Because I'll say, Tess, what was the stuff you talked
but
about?
But you can just text me. Anybody can just text me. DM me on Instagram at Pout by Tess Lucille.
Pout by Tess Lucille, and she, will help people. And we will do videos of these, of every episode, what we're talking about. We'll do a video to coincide with it, and we'll post it on Sweaty and Pissed, Menopause and More Facebook page and Instagram and if my you have a Facebook page and all that, and so that she can show us what she's talking about in these episodes.
And if you're somebody that has a question, like we're going to put up a video about how to put on false lashes on yourself. So if you have something that you like, that you need a tutorial on, shoot me a DM and I'll put it in the list. I'll put it in the roundup.
Perfect.
Yes.
This has been so much fun, Tess, and we've got so much more to talk about.
So much more. There's so much about my
So we're going to have to do that next time. Yes. And move on to
we'll talk about what do you want to talk about next episode?
Next we can build up the face. We can go in for blush, bronzer, powders, shaping the face. A lot of the shaping of the face.
Okay.
Perfect. I can't wait.
Okay.
I'm going to look better by next time.
Oh, you look great, Karen.
She does. Karen always looks good. Looks like Baby Newirth on Broadway.
She's just so healthy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She is. Yes. She eats a lot of fruits and vegetables. And it shines through.
But say the healthier you eat, the better your skin looks.
That's true. Well, and I really want to thank you, Tess, for joining us today. And I want to thank Forrest for producing, Forrest Wenzel, and for our theme music, and Stephen Brown for our artwork. And we've been neglectful in mentioning our merchandise, which you can find the link to on our Facebook page and our website, sweatyandpissed.com. And again, I've been taking copious notes, so I will get these written up or typed up and put on our web page in the blog section, which is at the bottom of the web page. So you'll have all the names.
Okay, thank you for doing that, Karen.
You're welcome.
All right. Till next time.
Thank you, ladies. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Everybody. Thank you so much.
Be safe.
Sweat.